Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Today's episode is brought to you by blackriflecoffee.com. Let's go to their website right now. I think last week's episode, I was telling you about the Father's Day code, and it might have expired by the time it got there. So right now, though, we're current. And it looks like you can now add the rounds, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is pretty much the stuff that you're going to find at a lot of the hotels. It's the ready to go. You plug it in there, some water, and boom, you're good to go. So you can add those to your coffee club subscription as well. If you scroll down, you can go through and spend as much time as you want on the types of coffee they have, from light to dark, and you could put those in your subscription. Apparel, gear, coffee bundles, and coffee samplers. Now, I always make a point of talking about the coffee sampler because it's been the best gateway for me to expose new people to the brand. And the bundles are cool once you figure out what it is that you like, because you can combine those things and you're off and running. blackriflecoffee.com. It's an amazing brand founded by amazing people that continue to give back to the veteran community. And that's why I love them so much. In addition to the fact they make damn good coffee. My guest today is Sam Mackey. I put Sam through Buds and have absolutely no recollection of it. He does remember it, though, and he had a pretty comical story about it. So, obviously, if I put him through Buds, he comes from the SEAL community. He's out now, did his 20 years. He talks all about his career, so I'll leave that to him. And is now the CEO of Outsider Drinkware. And we talk about it and how we reconnected actually through that product that we sell at the coffee shop. And I'll put a link in the show notes so you can check it out if you want to. It's very cool. They're some of the best sellers in the store. And I think it's because, one, the technology is cool, but two, we laser etch them and engrave them so they are unique to the coffee shop, a little bit of a souvenir action. So enough of me running my mouth. Let's let Sam speak for himself. Episode number 241 with Sam Mackey. Enjoy.
Okay, got the red smoke.
Gun run, north or south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke.
Okay, copy. West of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now.
Come on with it, baby. Give it to me. I need it. Get cleared hot.
Copy, cleared hot.
When was the last time we saw each other?
Probably 2005, 6-ish, maybe.
What were we doing?
You were a second phase instructor.
Oh, fuck. I apologize for my behavior.
Oh, no.
What class were you?
266.
266. Okay.
So we lost our last officer in pool comp. But right before pool comp, you were beating all of us, and you let everyone go.
Hold on. That's not the correct term.
Shit, what do we get? What do we call it now?
Remediating you guys for a failure that I don't remember, but certainly was legitimate.
It felt a lot like we were getting our shit pushed in.
What did I have you doing?
I don't know. You let the whole class go, but
Yeah.
you kept back the OIC and I because I was his swim buddy.
Yeah.
And then you beat us for, 30 minutes. Then you looked at me and you said, Sam, or Mackey, you might just fucking make it. Beat it. Recover. And I got up and ran away.
For clarity, Michael, I have no recollection of that. We saw hundreds of students. I don't remember you as a student.
Yeah.
But I distinctly remember some of my instructors. Mm-hmm. And not a single one of them has ever been like, oh, yeah, I totally remember you. But I was in the third phase when an instructor came up to me and said, are you part of this class? I was like, fuck yeah. Nailed it.
I ran into Bobby Holland not too long ago. He was our INDOC proctor. And I know it's not INDOC anymore.
Is it PTRR?
No, so it was PTRR, I think, and then it was INDOC, and now it's Bud's Orientation, I believe. I could be wrong.
In classic military form, I bet they do exactly the same things.
Exact same thing. I mean,
like when I went through, it was surf torture. When you went through, it was surf conditioning.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. The activity is exactly the same. The only thing they changed is the name.
I mean, why? Why does this happen? Does it just get wrapped up in the bureaucracy?
I was never involved in those conversations. Mm-hmm. My suspicion would be, so the SEAL community, let's say it's 2,000 people. Michael, can you look up how many people are in the U.S. Navy? I bet it's a fraction of a percentage point of people in the Navy.
Yeah.
But we still answer, meaning we, the community, still answers to the big Navy. My suspicion is that the vernacular changed because they have to get... Okay, yeah, so holy shit. Michael, what, so...
Look at all those officers just...
I know, it should be doubled, right?
Yeah.
Michael, what would be 2,000 percentage-wise out of the 328,000? What would that be?
Let me look.
Because that's the size of the active. Well, that's the size that they were shooting to have it be.
Right, it's less than 1%.
Oh, it's way less than 1%. It's going to be a fraction of a percent.
But
Michael's over there.
Speaking of naval special warfare, did you see the...
What is it?
0.6.
0.6%.
Good numbers.
Yeah. Well, so the doctrine and the paperwork, I bet you has to be still approved all the way up.
Oh, I'm sure.
So if 0.6% of the people are actually experiencing it, 99.4% of the people have no idea what the fuck it means, and they probably don't like seeing torture on a document.
Yep.
That's my guess.
Did you see I'm going to call it a post, I don't even know what it was, that came out last week for Pride Week for NSW?
I did.
That's getting a little negative attention in the community.
Does naval special warfare need to have a social media presence?
No.
I would agree, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have to worry about that particular social minefield. And I don't know what they gain by having it, because, and I've never looked at it. I mean, full clarity before I start talking shit about something I know nothing about.
I like to do it a lot.
Yeah. Never once have looked, Michael, God, I'm glad you're here. Not because you do your job well, but because you have access to that computer. Can you pull up, what do you think is on this Navy SEAL Instagram page? Because I've never looked at it.
Nor have I.
But I want to now, because it'll lead to my suspicion. And my suspicion is not a single goddamn person has ever joined because of the social media. Because there's so many other people who have either gotten out or people who are in, who have their pages, who are going to be putting out their experience as opposed to like a polished overall naval special warfare. Probably went through 8 different approval filters before posts go out.
Yeah.
Or TV and video and movies and all that shit.
I would assume, once again, I've never looked at this page, but it has to be a recruiting tool. So it's everything sexy that someone might want to see.
I bet it's not even that sexy.
They don't even show people picking up brass or taking out the
Let's
trash
see.
or pulling weeds out in front of the team.
Michael, it'll probably be just be naval special warfare.
Okay, yeah, that's what I had to look up.
What did you look up originally?
Navy SEAL Instagram.
Oh, that's going to net you some gnarly ones. Okay, let's see what we got here.
So I thought they might go the memorial route, have pictures of, dead guys. But that's a little...
No, yeah, okay. A flag. We got a 2-star chatting. This is kind of what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I
met Tommy Norris a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's a cool cat.
Keep going down, Michael. Let's see what we got here. There's a little bit. So a guy exiting an aircraft, some winter training stuff. Okay. This to me, in my opinion, and all that counts for, is in line with what my uneducated opinion is, which is nobody's probably joined the SEAL community because of something like this.
No.
Because of this page. So it does give the community, though, a great opportunity to step all over their crank, which is right. It really gives you the opportunity to just fuck right up.
So why'd you join the Navy?
Charlie Sheen, of course.
Me too. Dead serious.
Yeah, I was joking, but
No,
I'm glad.
I'm 100% serious.
I did see that early. Man, I had a conversation with my dad. I still remember the conversation. And so he was in Vietnam. He was on the Mark 1s, where we worked on the Mark 5s, which I'm sure they're at Mark whatever it is now. His experience in the Navy wasn't great. He was in the brown water Navy, so he was an insertion or extraction platform for SEALs. So the first time I ever heard the term, it was from my dad. And it just was like this insatiable curiosity and desire once I started figuring out what it was. And I don't know why, because people always ask me that, like, well, what was it about it? And, at 11, I couldn't tell you, and at 46, I still struggle. But probably something to do with, it was clearly difficult. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Clearly the odds weren't in my favor, which was also interesting and motivating to me, which is not for a lot of people. The exclusivity of it, and let's be honest, it just fucking sounded cool. Yeah, grip and rip that thing. It's water. That's hose water.
Cool.
From Montana. Can you tell?
It tastes like freedom. You're living pretty free around here. I mean, I saw
in the whole 30 minutes you've been here?
I got here yesterday. Right? I did some exploring.
All right.
I saw an El Camino with bucket seats bolted in the back.
Oh, yeah.
No helmet laws, weed dispensaries, casinos in every gas station and restaurant. I mean, it's like this is like Lat Belt country. You know what I mean? Like 96. You're living free.
On Fridays they do a. Have you experienced this, Michael? The Kalispell Cruise, which I don't know how to describe it without talking about it in terms that people would think I'm being very negative. It's on the. If there was a teeter-totter or a scale, it's on the redneck side of the scale.
I can get down with that.
I saw this. I'm going to assume this truck was lifted 24 inches, and in the bed of the truck was somebody sitting on a motorcycle as if they were riding it, but just facing the wrong direction. And I don't know if it was strapped in, but they were like burning rubber. And I'm sitting here
I was
looking
just
at
about
this.
to ask if it was on the motorcycle.
I don't know.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to not be near it for when the person either hit the brakes or gassed it, and they came tumbling off that thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 5 feet up in the air. So yeah, I guess if there's freedom to be had, then.
So
it is what it is.
This convention on Fridays doesn't have a safety officer, I take it. It's just...
They do burnouts directly in front of the police station.
I'm telling you, you're living free around here. It's a good look.
I think sometimes the cops will flash the lights, but it seems like it's just a main street. They kind of come back and forth. Mm-hmm. What is the origin of it, Michael? Do you know what it's all about?
I think it was from COVID when everything was shut down. People were kind of trying to protest a bit. And so
by driving around in their cars with their masks on?
Yeah. Going down Main Street.
Just ripping Mainers?
Yeah.
So Friday, that's what happens in the evening.
Every Friday.
In the summer.
Yeah.
Wintertime, Kalispell Cruise participation decreases, it seems like a
I
little
can
bit.
see that.
Yeah. So yeah, the social posts for spec warfare, I don't think there's anything to be gained, but I think there's a lot that could potentially be lost.
So I just got some, information from a buddy that's still in, and that post came out. And he's like, "Hey, did you see this?" And then I believe it was the Commodore of Group 1, right, or Warcom, whatever it is out there, sent out appeared to be a text message. I got it in the form of text message, and it lined up, so I don't think it was an email transferred over to text message, and it was a justification statement, essentially.
I think I saw it too. There's a Signal group.
Yeah.
Where it may have been ripped from that or cut and pasted from that. Thoughts on the explanation?
I just thought it was interesting that if you make a decision and then immediately feel like you have to justify it to 2,000 people, especially putting it in your position of authority, you might regret your decision.
Yeah.
You might be backpedaling a little bit.
I also don't know if there's a way to make a decision in the SEAL community that's going to make everybody happy.
There's no way.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Besides, you can grow your hair out and not shave your beard.
Even that was contentious. Dude, early on, that people were just like, "What? That's ridiculous. Why would you do that? You're undisciplined pieces of shit." Now, however, yes, that is true sometimes, but it had nothing to do with the haircuts and beards. That was long before that came into effect. There's no way in that community to actually say or do anything that's going to please everybody.
Not a chance.
But I don't know the value of that particular post for the community. Like, was it net positive or net negative?
I would assume
That's
it was
the bigger
negative,
question.
right? And then who do you cater towards? The support, because it was the message I ran was clearly like, hey, we're catering towards our support personnel.
Same one I read as well.
And but their orders say, so-and-so SEAL Team 8 support, and the other, or SEAL Team 3, whatever, and everyone else's orders say SEAL Team 8 if you're a trident wearer. So I think we should put emphasis, or not that my fucking opinion matters anymore, put emphasis on the trident wearers because everyone else is in a support position. That's my thought.
I can understand that train of thought, and at the same time, the SEAL teams wouldn't be able to do shit without the support personnel. And I'm not justifying the Commodore's statement. I'm saying I think he exists in a tenuous balance, and he maybe should have shopped that idea around a little bit more. Not that here's what I also bet, that the Commodore doesn't have the login to the Instagram post.
Nope.
I bet it was. Well, I was about to say I bet that the idea was at least pitched to him beforehand.
Oh, it was the PAO office at Warcom.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm trying to think, like, what are the odds that it actually was? It certainly hit his desk after.
Yes, sir. But
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
Who
anyway.
knows how involved he was up to that?
I don't know.
So Charlie Sheen, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I saw that movie, let's say in the 4th grade.
It's a good time
Yeah.
for a man to see that movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then it always stuck with me. I was boxing the whole time. So, my whole childhood I boxed, so I wanted to be a professional boxer. Then I got in a lot of trouble and ended up in juvenile hall and then on probation. Then I joined the Navy to end my probation. And I figured, shit, if I'm joining the Navy, might as well go be a SEAL.
What does the career of a professional boxer look like? I mean, everybody knows who Mike Tyson is, but
It's hard.
there's one of those.
Yeah. It's a long amateur career, and then you get your pro card, and then you start with, like 4-round fights, not your 7 or 8 rounds or 10 rounds or whatever. And then you just build on top of that. And if you keep collecting W's, then you work your way up.
How long does that take, though?
It all depends on your amateur career. Like, for example, if you go to the Olympics or whatever, and then you come out and you're going to start up the ladder a little further than someone who didn't go to the Olympics,
Yeah.
right?
You already have a pretty storied amateur career if you're in the Olympics.
Correct. Yeah. And but
Where'd you grow up?
mainly Northern California, Bay Area,
Okay, where in the Bay Area?
Novato and Marin.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Santa Cruz.
Okay, gotcha. Yep.
All right.
So
I didn't know there's a deep boxing culture up there. How'd you get into that?
I moved next to a boxing gym in the 4th grade. It was maybe like a mile down the road.
That'll do it.
I just rode my bike down there and went in one day, and they started letting me clean bags and things like that. Then I just started boxing.
What kind of trouble did you get in?
I got arrested for selling weed to an
How dare you,
undercover
sir.
cop. Now you could just walk down the road and buy it, right? But no, I was working.
How old were you?
17.
I need to hear more of this. Tell me the tale.
Okay, so I was working at the Gap and security, so I stood out front and just made sure.
I was going to say, this story sucks because it started with I was working at the Gap, but you were doing security, so it's better. Tell me more.
Retail's not for everybody. I get it. And my manager at the time's like, "Hey, I got a buddy that's going up to Tahoe who wants an ounce of weed." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem. Give him my number." And then I met him in a movie theater parking lot at like 2 p.m, and it was off. He had a High Times magazine sitting there in the passenger seat. I walk up. I'm like,
Tight cropped haircut.
"Oh, I mean, he looked." Everything about it was wrong, but $300 is $300. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I got in his car and sold him an ounce of weed. Well, an ounce is 28 grams. I sold him a 32-gram ounce. So for hopefully he was a return customer, right? And then about 4 or 5 weeks later, I'm in history class, I think it was, and my assistant principal walks in with a cop and says my name. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm toast." And then went.
So no indication at that moment though that you were fucked. You made the sale and then you left.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd gotten away with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. When I was getting arrested, I thought I was getting arrested for something else. Like
What else did you think you were getting
different
arrested for?
Selling weed, but in a different.
A different customer.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And then.
So you were an entrepreneur at a young age.
Correct. And then went to juvenile hall for 2 weeks. Spent 6 months on house arrest.
How was juvie?
Yeah. Well, they were rebuilding, renovation, whatever you want to call it, the juvenile hall at the time. So we just had to sit in our cells all day, every day.
Solo cell?
Yeah. So I did a lot of reading.
What was everybody else in there for?
I don't know.
Did you communicate with like mirrors so you could see each other's eyes and like throwing notes across?
Yep. And we had flyers. We call them flyers in the biz, but so that all wrapped up. My dad got stationed up in Seattle, Washington, so moved up there. But I got expelled from school, so I homeschooled.
For weed again? Expelled from school?
Yeah, all this in the same incident.
Okay.
Right. I was expelled from school, went to juvenile hall, was on house arrest, going through all my court shit. And then my dad got stationed up in Seattle, so went up to Seattle. And but since I was expelled, I was homeschooled and I was on house arrest. I had nothing to do, so I took tons of classes. And so I was able to, I had enough credits to graduate high school already, but I didn't want to move my senior year and not go to school.
Yep.
So I went to the school and I took, I think, 2 weightlifting classes, ceramics and home ec my senior year. And then
It's a well-rounded schedule.
yeah, it was a block schedule, so I had to show up at 11, left at like 2.
Were you still selling weed?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And then
Scared straight, if you will.
I was, yeah. And I lost my driver's license. I mean,
Okay.
And everything like that. So while I was on probation, then I talked to my probation officer, and I said, "Hey, if I join the Navy, will that in my probation, I get my driver's license back?" And I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, all right, cool. So I walked in the recruiter and joined the Navy.
Did you have any issues given your record?
At the time, no. My dad was 06 in the Coast Guard. He went in there and helped the situation a little bit. I have no clue what was said or what was done. We haven't had that conversation, and but I was able to join the Navy. But I do remember at the time they had felony waivers.
Mm-hmm. What year was this?
03.
Yeah, they were not going to say they would take anybody, but they were looking for people hard.
Mm-hmm. And so then went to boot camp. I showed up at boot camp, and it's dark January in
Chicago.
Yeah, it's horrible. And some guy that can't even see his dick's yelling at me. I'm like, man.
How do you know he couldn't see his dick?
Because his belly was so big.
Okay.
I mean, maybe with a mirror, modern day technology, who knows? But
selfie. They say it's more slimming if you take the picture from below. You know what I mean, Michael? If you want to talk about dick pics, he's the guy.
We call that the Brett Favre of the biz.
Yeah, the Favre. Yeah.
And but then whatever, made it through boot camp, and then went to Buds, and then that was my first time, and I got dropped at the beginning of second phase.
So you made it through Hell Week.
Yeah. And then
what'd you get dropped for?
Time runs.
Okay.
Some sob stories.
You would have had to fail a tremendous amount of time runs.
So I failed, I think, one before and one after.
You should get 2 per phase.
So I failed one before Hell Week and one after Hell Week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I went to Brown Shirt Rollback Land, and Master Chief Wilbanks was running Brown Shirt Rollback Land at the time. I don't know if you remember that name at all. And I told him, like, hey, my foot's messed up. I had a stress fracture in my left foot. I was on crutches. Well, Master Chief Wilbanks retires. 2 other guys come in, and they're like, hey, you have a performance role. You're classing up on Monday. Well, I was standing on the O course on crutches.
I was going to say it would clearly be a medical role.
Yeah. And, well, it wasn't. And then classed up, failed the run that Monday. And then they're like, hey, we'll give you 2 weeks till class up day, a second phase, or 2-3 weeks, whatever that is, after Hydro Hell Week and all that. Classed up, second phase, failed the run, and got dropped.
Huh. How was that board process on the way out?
It was pretty shitty, man. I felt like I was getting a raw deal.
Yeah.
Right? And, but it is what
Did
it
they
is.
give you the chance to advocate for yourself and explain what had happened?
I don't remember all that much. I remember walking into the first phase classroom and, being in front of the board, and I don't think they let me do much talking.
Yeah, I had never gone into one of those boards until I went back as an instructor, and I didn't often go in just because we did less of them in second phase than in first phase. And I don't know. I'm going to say that the student had some degree of impact on the trajectory in the manner that the student would probably want to see it go, but they had a huge impact if they said or behaved in a manner that was not becoming of what we wanted to see to fucking end it right there. Mm-hmm. Because they kind of talk to them and they're excused. The conversations that are had when the student is outside, like, fuck that guy. Mm-hmm. Like, you'd see people come in there on a second phase board with, like, serious attitudes, which I didn't understand.
The students?
Yes.
Oh.
Not the staff. I'm talking the staff.
I went in there. I'm like, no excuses. I mean, you know the drill.
Yeah.
I knew the drill.
That's
no
what you
excuses.
have to say.
Yeah, like, it's my fault.
Yeah.
All of that, right? And but I couldn't imagine going there as a student with an attitude.
You have no idea.
Really?
I watched it go from, because there's a little bit of a pre-brief, because it's usually it was the operations officer who was making the final decision, and they will usually have somebody from each phase and maybe 2 people from the phase that they're in. You'd brief the OPSO, like, this is a student, this is what we see going on, and you'd kind of like, it's like anything else, like, this is probably what we'd like to see. It's their decision. And I have seen more than once where you go in there and you brief, hey, this is a good dude, like, this is what we want to see, let's consider a role, and they come in and act like a fucktard and eject. Changing the course of the board and their trajectory because they had too much hubris. They had literally too much ego. They couldn't get in there and just own their shit. And I don't know why.
If a guy's doing that in a student role, imagine what it could be like if he's, when he gets to the teams, he's potential to be a cancer,
Probably not going to be any better.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
And so I think that's the right call.
What happened to you after that board, though?
I went to Sigonella, Italy. And
so far, this story's good.
Yep.
Did you have any say in that, though?
Yeah, I picked. And I picked a place real far away because I was ashamed of myself. I'm like,
okay.
I didn't make it through. This sucks. And I ran for the hills. And I always wanted to go to Italy, because went there one time and before that, and so I'm like, oh, it couldn't be too bad. So I went to Sigonella, Italy, and was a gate guard where every day was the worst day of my life, checking IDs.
Did you have to go to like gate guard school, MP school?
I went to that before Buds.
Okay, so that was your rate.
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
And then,
how long into that process did you decide you were going to take another shot at it?
well, I wanted to go back right away, but I got in a little bit of trouble, and
Tell me more.
so this is actually pretty entertaining. The thing I got in trouble for a couple little things, but me and my roommate, who's now still in the teams, he was a gate guard also. We worked the night shift. We'd get off work, we'd go work out, then go to bed and sleep all day and rinse and repeat. Well, after we're working out, we'd always eat tuna and rice with like a can of green beans in it or something like that.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, with ranch and barbecue sauce in there. I still eat it to this day. It's glorious.
Fuck is wrong?
And then, so we eat. Well, he took his small bed out of his barracks room and put a big bed in there, and he had a computer. I didn't have a computer. And so we were in there watching a movie and fell asleep in the same bed, right? And we didn't have shirts on. We just had like our workout shorts on or something like that.
Where in the actual fuck is this story going?
So, just happened to be the morning that they were doing inspections on the smoke alarms. So some CB walks in, and we're both in bed together, right? And he's like, we got a couple of gays here. I need to tell somebody, right?
Yeah.
So he told our chain of command, and so we get brought in the next day and get in trouble, and we go to a DRB for being gay.
I mean, what was your explanation? They're like, hey guys, it was super hetero, just me and another dude in Ranger panties with no shirt on, watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like,
it was probably The Notebook.
Yeah.
But I forget how it started, the DRB, and they accused us of a bunch of stuff, like other nonsense. And then there's one...
Like what other nonsense?
Just skipping work because we didn't come back one day because there was this train, really long source. There's a little spot we used to go party, and it's known to the train take a couple of hours. So if you get stuck on the other side of the tracks, it could take a couple hours. Yeah. And we got stuck a couple of times.
Okay.
And so they blamed it on, us just skipping work. So anyway, we didn't have the best reputations. We weren't the most, we were not the best gate guards or military police officers.
Yeah, it sounds like there was a lot of tuna fish and gay shit.
Yeah. And then that's exactly what it was. And then at the very end of the board, one of the chiefs that was on the board, he's like, hey, I got something to say. And he's like, I didn't want to say it because it's going to, this is something else wrong that they did. But I walked in their room one morning when I was just like doing my barracks rounds, and there was girls in the room, like local national Italian girls, and they were topless. So he's like, I know they're not gay. So it all got dismissed.
What year was that?
04?
I feel like Don't Ask, Don't Tell had been repealed by then.
I don't think so.
Michael, will you look up what year Don't Ask, Don't Tell was repealed? Yeah, because I feel like in the modern day military, it's kind of the Wild West.
Yeah, there's no way nowadays I would...
I don't think it's a disqualifying...
Yeah.
Not that I don't think it ever should have been a disqualifying factor, but what'd you find, Michael?
2011.
Okay, so you were pre-2011.
Mm-hmm. And so that ended.
So, hold on, though. You're in bed.
Yep.
Let's paint the picture for the listener.
I was if you're looking at the bed, I was on the UDT right.
The UDT right of the bed. Yep. Shooter's left.
Yep. And
so a door opens.
Mm-hmm.
You come to.
No, we sleep through the whole thing. We have no clue.
Oh my God.
So we go into work and we get brought in. And like, you guys are gay. Like, okay. And they're like, no, seriously, you're in trouble.
You're like, for what? I was just napping.
Yeah. So
we always hold hands when we sleep.
On top of each other. It's a polite thing to do. I'm a power bottom.
Oh, God. Okay.
So that all blew over, and then...
you got to pick your terms better. You're talking about trains and blowing.
Yep.
It's like...
It's all... I'm just painting the picture for everybody.
All right.
And so that all blew over, and then still no orders to Buds. I got orders to Tinker Air Force Base to go be a gate guard there. and I was just thinking about just getting out of the Navy. And then we got a new chief, and I think he was a Master Arms at Butts. And I had all my package ready to go. Everything was good to go, and it just got denied.
What was the reasoning for it being denied? Or did it just come back denied?
They just came back denied. Like, yeah, the command didn't approve it. And but then this guy came in. His name was Ron Vidari. I think he lives in San Diego now. He came in and told him a story. Real cool guy. Liked riding Harleys. Just a good old boy. And went to work one day or one evening, and then I've told him the story 100 times. I'm trying to go to Bud's, and he's like, "Let me see what I could do." And then got a call. I want to say maybe like 8, 9 in the morning after my shift, and like, "Hey, you need to come down to the station," or whatever it was called. And went down there, I said, "Why?" And this gal was telling me, "Well, you have orders to Bud's," and I told her, "I'm going to walk down there. If you're lying to me, I'm going to kick you right in the fucking cunt." And
that's good for career progression to tell them that.
So then she has me on speakerphone. So now I have orders Bud's, and I go and I get in more trouble. But it all smooths over, and I was able to go to Bud's, and then I went back to class 266 and just made it right through.
How was it the second time versus
Easy.
the first?
First phase was easy.
Well, because you knew it was coming, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even Hell Week?
It sucked just because it's hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, it wasn't bad.
Okay. And then did it become more difficult as you progressed past first phase and it became things you had never seen before?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was very, very determined after being in the fleet. I'm like, I'm not doing that again,
It's one of the people who go and they want to be a SEAL and they're not given the chance to do so, med roll, performance roll, or even just quit. When they come back, especially if they've had a few years in the Fleet Navy, which is not what they signed up for, it's pretty hard to get rid of them.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck this. I don't want to go back to whatever it is I was doing before.
It was, there was no option. And I thought Bud's wasn't even that hard then when I went back with that mindset.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
How'd your class do as you guys were coming through second phase?
We did well. We lost our last officer in pool comp. So then we were an all enlisted class, and I think we did pretty good. We're a little wild, got a little trouble as a class, but I don't think it's anything someone hasn't done in the past.
Yeah. How many people did you graduate with?
I remember the number 17 original guys,
Yeah.
that started in doc or whatever. But I want to say maybe around 30.
Okay.
Ish.
Was there SQT at this time?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went through STT, which I think was the first attempt at Group 1 managing all the training. It used to be at each individual team. It was, and getting your Trident was a very different process than it is now. So you are pipelined into SQT 18 months-ish?
Yeah.
How was that?
I liked it. It was a lot of freedom at the time. We got BAH, so everyone moved out
Which
of
is housing. What does that stand for? Basic?
housing allowance.
Yeah. Basic Housing Allowance, even though it's BAH.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basic Allowance Housing? Huh? Maybe?
I don't know. But yeah, we got BAH, so I got a little condo in PB and a couple blocks from the beach.
Hell
and
yeah.
just living life. It was great.
And you were probably finally learning stuff too.
Exactly.
I enjoyed STT because, third phase tactics are basically don't shoot the person next to you and don't get a safety violation. When I went through STT, it was like, hey, this is how we do this and this is why. And now we're going to do it for weeks. I thought it was fucking awesome.
I loved it too. And we went to, we had Alaska first, so I thought that was cool. It was February in Alaska, and learned a boatload there. Then we went right into static line and free fall.
Out of OTI?
Yeah, I think we're maybe, I don't know, the fifth class, somewhere around. There was only a handful of classes before, because everyone else used to have to go to Benning, right?
Yuma. Yeah. Well, Benning is static line.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Saying we did both of them. Sorry. Yeah, I was.
Your static line course was what, about a week?
If that.
Mine was 3 weeks. Fuck
so we did a couple days, or maybe a day of jumping off the platform and PLFing, and then weather moved in, so a day got canceled. So then we just did 3 or 4 jumps, the minimum you need.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 or 4, and then went right into free fall. So I still only have 3 or 4 static line jumps, whatever that minimum is.
You have no idea how lucky you guys are that system was set up.
How many static line jumps do you have?
Probably close to 90. Ugh. For my first 2 platoons, I wasn't free fall qualified. I got free fall qualified at the tail end of the workup in my second platoon. I had an OIC or officer in charge who loved air stuff because he was free fall qualified. So we would do 2 weeks of jumping all day, every day. But I wasn't jumping out free fall. I was on just hook up, stand up, hook up, shuffle to the door, laying on the ground wondering whether or not my knees are ever going to function again as you hear people like hooting and hollering as they're free falling under a canopy. Two platoons in a row of that.
They would just do a low pass and then
Yes.
go up, and then everyone would jump out and burn
We'd be on
past
the
you.
port side of the 130. Mm-hmm. They would spit us out at like 1,200, climb to altitude, spit the free fall jumpers out all day, every day for 2 weeks. It was horrible.
Well, I'm glad I never had to do that.
Yeah.
If I never static line again,
Yeah, and so I started jumping on my own because of that experience. So I challenged the military course. I had a couple hundred jumps at the time, and a message came out like, "Hey, if you're a civilian jumper, you can come challenge the curriculum." Because you used to have to go to Yuma.
Really?
Yeah, you'd go. I believe I didn't go through it, but I believe back in the day. So the Army is the proponent for free fall, the JFK school, and it was in Bragg. That's where one of the first wind tunnels is.
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Yeah, totally inefficient. I think they took a horizontal one and flipped it vertically. It's not cutting edge technology.
And the air was horrible.
Correct.
Yeah.
Then you went out to Yuma for, I think, another 3 weeks. So you guys did everything, I think, in 3 weeks. Probably a week of static line, 2 weeks of free fall.
Something like that. I think we got 40 jumps, maybe 3 weeks of free fall.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah. So then after that, I forget what training blocks we went into after that, but to your point, I thoroughly enjoyed SQT, especially land warfare and small unit tactics.
Oh, it's awesome.
And then we went to wherever you go to the kill house, Mount Laguna.
Yes. How about the radar dish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went there, and I love CQC, and so the rest of SQT was great. Then we finished on diving, which is super chill.
Yeah.
That was our last thing.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you put on your dream sheet when you were in Buds?
Every West Coast team.
You're about to say you went to the East Coast, didn't you?
Oh yeah. So then I thought I was getting fucked with because that's when the SO rating first came out, and so we all graduated Buds and became E4s, right?
I don't know. That's post my going through.
We came E4s, and then we were able to take the E5 test at the beginning of SQT right after making it E4.
Huh.
And then, so we all take the E5 test, and they're reading down the list, like, here's the people that made it. And they're like, read everybody's name but mine, and or like me and a couple other guys. And my OIC was just fucking with us. And so everyone made E5. And then, we do our dream sheets, and I put all West Coast teams. And they're going down that list, like, so-and-so 1, so-and-so 1, so-and-so team 3, team 3, Mackey 8. I'm like, I didn't even know there's a fucking SEAL team 8. Then I go out to Virginia Beach, and I really didn't like it that much for the first week or so. Then deployed right away, but then got home, and then I fell in love with it.
I put 2, 4, and 8 on my dream sheet because I figured as a California kid, let's go try something else. Team 5. We filled them out in second phase. When did you guys fill out your dream sheets?
SQT.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe the last week of Buds.
What was the flash to bang between filling it out and getting your results?
Like 6 months.
Okay, so,
if not more.
We got our results on the island in third phase. They broke us up into small groups. Everybody got to go get wet and sandy. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And then we got remediated as a group, and an instructor who was from that team would come over and was like, hey, this group of people is going to fill in the blank team. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was actually probably only 6 weeks.
Ours took a long time, and abnormally
I wonder why.
long amount of time. I have no clue. But
SQT is not short, though.
No.
They have plenty of time. Mm-hmm. So you get over to Team 8. What year did you finally check into Team 8?
Oh, wait.
Okay, and then right on to a deployment?
Yep. So check in, and then a week later went to UCOM because the teammate was deployed.
What the hell is a UCOM? Europe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know anything about that. At the time, I think everyone that was in Iraq was in Sadr City doing the sniper Overwatch thing. I'm like, all right, let's go. And because when we graduated SQT, they're like, hey, who's going to Team 8? A bunch of us raise our hand, and they're like, hey, who wants to deploy in a week? And I raised my hand, and with one or two other guys, because I didn't have shit planned for leave,
Yeah.
And I only knew about Iraq and Afghanistan, then go to UCOM to free up an older guy to go to Iraq. But that's when Russia invaded Georgia. Remember that?
I do.
And so we pushed out to Romania and chilled on the Black Sea and did some training ops out there with the Romanians and things like that. But
what'd you guys do with the rest of your time? Was it a 6-monther?
Yeah, but I was there for maybe 3 of it.
Okay.
And so we spent the majority of that out in Romania.
Huh. What were your first thoughts getting there after that whole training pipeline?
When I showed up to the team, no one was there besides the civilian deputy ops.
Yeah.
And he introduced himself as the acting CO of SEAL Team 8.
Shut the fuck up.
And I'm like,
He is not the acting CO.
I'm like, man, like his appearance wasn't well kept, or I'm like, this is really interesting. So then a week later, I'm deployed, and I'm telling everybody about this. Like, hey, I met the CO. They're like, where the hell did you meet the CO? I'm back at the beach, and then I told them this guy's name, and then they all laughed at me. Then I had to go like fuck with this guy for the next year after I got back. But it was great. Good group of guys, and since I just did a half of a deployment. When I got back, I already knew all the older guys and built some rapport. Was able to go to sniper school right out the gate. So
No shit.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And so everything worked out well.
And then where'd your career go after that?
So I did 5 pumps at 8, and then went to land warfare, and then back to 8 for another pump. Group 2 for 2 years. Then did a pump at Team 4. And then went to ATC and retired out of there.
Okay, so you did your full 20.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I just retired in February.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Where'd you guys go on your deployments at 8?
Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa.
How was Africa?
Shithole,
What'd you guys do down there?
A lot of FID.
Okay.
And
Foreign Internal Defense, which is basically teaching partner force.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then in Somalia, we were going on some ops. Every once in a while I'd get Western, but it was pretty tame.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How was your Iraq and Afghanistan deployments?
They were great. I loved it. Iraq, we were doing DAs. We were doing the TF mission, with Delta, and we were just doing DAs almost every night. So it was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And then got home from that, and that's when we surged Afghanistan. So our troop pushed out all our new guys that we had just received when we got back. Pushed out all our new guys except one medic, and reloaded and went to Afghanistan. I think like 5 months later.
Damn, that's not bad.
No, it was great. And then that's when your name came up again. Like, oh yeah, do you remember Andy Stumpf? Like yeah, he's like, he keeps dropping benzos on spotters and ending the party before it starts.
Not always.
So that's the last time
I do
heard
like
their
shooting
name.
a javelin at people though. It sparks joy in my heart. It's fucking awesome.
I've never done it. Seen it done,
Yeah.
but I never went to the. I think I could pick up a javelin or read the manual and figure it out.
You 100% could.
And but I never went to the school. You had to go to be javelin qualified, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never did that. So
Yeah, I mean, that was more the reason I started doing that is because, I mean, by 2010, the last deployment I did over there, they understood the range of 5.56 and 7.62.
Mm-hmm.
So when they stay outside of that and they'll hit you with IDF or they'll launch PKM at you, fucking plunging PKM fire sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of dick for people who've never been on the receiving end of it. It's all the dong. You're just like, it sounds like it sounds like to me like a belt fed 300 Win Mag. It's just the fucking snap of that round.
I think it's a 30-06 round, very equivalent to it when originally.
Yeah.
Russian made 30-06, fully automatic. Of course.
It's one of my least favorite things to be shot at by, but they'd hang out at 2,500.
Yep.
And I'm looking around. I'm like, what's in that tube over there? Traded an Army ODA straight up a half shell helmet for a clue, the launching mechanism.
What?
Yeah. I flew around in the helicopters and found a guy who would trade me for a fucking half shell. Got the half shell, launched the first one like a few days later, and then they started just sending me all the javelins in country because nobody else would shoot them.
How many do you think you shot?
14.
80,000 times 14.
It's about a mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough.
Good work.
Yeah.
Thank you, taxpayers.
They'll lock onto anything over 10 years old. And I know that because I tried a 9-year-old and it just didn't work. I'm joking, obviously.
He's 8.5.
But I wouldn't start the party or end it before it started. Most of the time, they're sneaky as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Were you at Team 3?
Yeah, at the
Okay.
time.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes you're getting shot at, and because of the echoing in the valley, it's like, does anybody know where the fuck this is coming from?
Mm-hmm. Unless you got good bullet splash coming at you, or
Which
something.
we didn't, because they're launching over your head. You're
Yeah.
hearing the snaps, but then you hear the echo of the snaps coming the other direction. The number of times I've been shot at where I've just sat down and been like, can anybody fucking see where this is coming from?
That's an interesting feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would sit behind a rock
Yeah.
and hope that I was facing the correct direction. But yeah, I mean, I think the longest it's ever taken, and this is obviously from a distance, so the exigent threat is lower, but like maybe 5 minutes.
To find them.
Yeah. To even like narrow it down. And then they're like, okay, you're 2 ridge lines away. What weapon system do I have that's going to go out 2,000 yards, 2,500 yards? Nothing. Until I found one.
Now, 0 chance of missing.
There's never a 0 chance.
Yeah, sorry.
Once
Very
you've-
slim chance of missing, correct?
It's on the missile once you launch it.
Okay.
So originally you're just looking through the clue, and when you engage the missile, you'll hear the lithium. It's like a liquid lithium battery. It goes like, "Ring," and that charges the missile. And then you're actually looking through the warhead of the missile, and it's not the best image, and it's a little bit offset. So you're looking through it naked eye, and you can cycle through what you're seeing, and it's like naked eye and then the image, black and white, and it'd be a little bit off. So you'd be like naked eye, okay, and you're like there it is, motherfucker, and then you bracket it down, hold down the trigger, and it'll flash and lock. Whatever it's locked on, it should hit. But I'm not an expert on missiles. I don't know what it like because it's heat seeking. So I don't know what it does if like the person goes behind a rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if it loses that, and I don't care. So because you're gonna send it, right? If it locked
Yeah.
on that thing, but if it locked on the heat signature, like I remember, there's a couple good ones. I'm a good 3,000 yards away. And we had another high ground element, and we watched this Taliban element maneuver to get eyes on them. They had no idea that we were to like their 90 left. So I'm watching 3 dudes like set up a machine gun position while I'm just like putting my shit together, getting ready. I'm getting all the guys up there. They got their binos, fucking launch that thing. And the move is you launch it and throw it to get your binos because you want to see what happened. And it takes longer than you would think. You're like, motherfucker, I missed again. Boom! And
What's
it goes.
the hang time?
Depends on the distance.
Yeah.
And whether or not you do top attack or direct attack. Because it'll go up and come straight down to defeat armor. Or direct attack, it kind of arcs straight in. I think I had this one on direct attack. And these 3 dudes were like, would have fit in the space between you and I. And it fucking impacted directly on them. And you just see torsos like flying. It was so glorious.
I'm jealous.
But so it's like, I'm not going to pass up on that.
Yeah.
If that's ending the party before it starts, I'm okay with that.
That's just the rumor they got out to us. Like, you remember Andy Stumpf? He's just killing everyone with javelins, and no one else is getting in a firefight because you're just ending them before it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rule 1 of a firefight is a win.
I agree.
So it was funny.
Were you guys out of Kalat?
We were out in Nabahar
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. Well, I mean, we basically built that fob, and I heard it got turned over, I think, to the ANA or AMP shortly after. But when we first got there, we were co-located with the ANA. It's not awesome.
Yeah. I did a stint out at VSP Bog
Bog. I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
in Zabul.
Okay.
So, and it was right by Fob Lane.
Okay.
Remember when Brendan and Looney and when that hill
That was the
went down?
deployment we were on,
Yep.
yeah. That was a turnover op, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's right, I don't know,
Okay.
maybe 5 miles down the road from there.
I was back in the U.S. when that happened. My mom was, she had passed, I think, from cancer at that time, but I got sent home from that on a Red Cross message. That was a rough day.
Yeah.
A lot of his platoon had made it back, and I was the one who notified. I'm like, everybody come in here. Like, I can't tell you what this is about. And they all kind of knew what it was about, but they just didn't know who. That was a rough fucking day.
Yeah. That was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just retired in February, and now started a company with a friend and doing that and living life. So,
Yeah. How did you work as your career was coming to an end, when did you start thinking about the next? Like, what's over this SEAL horizon?
about my 16-year mark,
Okay.
right around in there. I started going to school,
What rank did you retire at?
E8.
Okay.
I never did my troop chief.
Couldn't make 9. Let's see.
Zero desire. Yeah. And I'd say about my 16-year mark or so.
Okay.
I started going to school, got my bachelor's degree, then thought it was pretty easy, so I got my master's, and then I was fishing with a friend, and we're having a beer, and he looks at me and goes, you know what, I don't think you should ever work for anybody ever again. And I'm like, well, what the hell else do I do? He's like, you need to start your own company. And so he told me, you know, if you want to move to Texas and become wealthy, you can start a concrete company, HVAC company, electricity company, or plumbing company.
That's apparently the route to financial independence in Texas.
According to my friend.
Okay.
And
did he do any of those things?
Yeah, so it all makes sense because he
Okay.
would be able to help me out, you know, get started. He owns a very large excavating company.
Oftentimes you hear people give that advice and they work in like tech.
No.
They're like, what you need to do to be rich is concrete. You're like, motherfucker, you type ones and zeros all day.
Yep. No, he is in that industry.
Okay.
You know, and
At least he's proximal to it.
correct, and he's obviously very good at it because he's done very well for himself. And so then I went back to Virginia Beach after that, found someone that poured concrete, a company, and just went and worked for free and poured some driveways, learned all that.
While you were still in.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like on weekends?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And
Did you enjoy it?
no, not all that much.
I ask jokingly because my dad was a brick mason.
Yeah.
The amount of concrete I've spilled all over myself. I was pushing he called it mud, which
Yep.
is different. I at about 12 was why he set this up like this. I'm going to blame this all on my father. In extreme ownership fashion, this is my dad's fault. Would you ever allow a 12 or 13-year-old to take a wheelbarrow full of fucking mud through somebody's living room?
No.
Okay, well, that happened.
How'd that
And
work out?
You know how it worked out? On their fucking carpet. Freaking whap! And I think my dad, if I remember correctly, my dad was out on the roof. So I'm sitting there watching as this liquid fucking mud is going into vents on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's no reason to freak out at this point
Yeah.
because I can't put this genie back in the bottle.
Just go grab a couple paper towels and clean it up quick.
The only thing I was thinking of was how do I open this conversation with my dad? And it's like walk outside. Hey, Dad, I need you to come see something. For clarity, it's not good, and I definitely fucked up. And he stood there and was just speechless. I think of a room twice this size, the entire floor is covered with just like sloppy fucking mud.
And it just runs.
Oh, because I had made
Yeah.
it. So and I was not good at making it when I first started. A liberal use of the water.
Yeah.
When that thing hit, I mean, I'm telling you, it was like a tsunami hitting corners and just like fucking making these breakers.
I believe they call that the slump, like the how dense, you know, or
Yeah.
watery the concrete was.
I
or
just
is, or
looked
the
in
mud.
amazement as it would go over the vents and then the vents would reappear because it was
my
obviously siphoning.
goodness.
Yeah. That's what you get.
So how'd you clean it up?
The only way you can clean that up, which is with a new floor. There's no cleaning it up.
Yeah, no,
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he made me pay for it. In hindsight, looking at that, he should have never allowed me to do that.
through a house.
Dude, we did some wild shit. My uncle,
No tarps, just cold bore through the house. Susie's in there making pancakes.
I mean, maybe he had these aspirations that I had a skill set that I didn't. A member of my family, and I don't want to say it was my uncle because I want to be sure, but my dad told me the story. His father was a brick mason. His father's brother was a brick mason. Somebody else in our family was too. They lost their license because instead of getting a jackhammer to tear a chimney down, he put a chain around it and attached it to the tow hitch of his vehicle. Pulled on it, it started coming, snapped the chain, and went through the fucking house. Ooh. So stumps apparently have a legacy of just detonating people's front rooms. I was not there for that, but that story was relayed to me from my dad many times. So
That's
pretty
brutal.
Dude, I look back at some of the stuff he let me do. I would be mortified to let my children do those things.
Yeah.
Just standing on top of 3-story chimneys, and he hands me a jackhammer. He's like, "Yeah, just shave it off." Just and as I'm up there and just like carving this shit off into people, and I look back, I'm like, "Oh, we didn't even put plywood down. I think I was just making divots in their grass." Same time, it was glorious. You know, it was. I knew how to use quickie saws. I mean, it was an awesome environment to grow up in for sure. Like you get to boot camp and people are yelling at you. I'm like, "This is easy." You know, as people are crying themselves to sleep in boot camp.
Oh my God.
Did that happen in your class too?
Yes. And there was, I was young. I was 19, and there's guys in there well older than me, like 25, 27, didn't know how to shave or anything. And they're just sorry saps of human beings just laying there crying themselves to sleep.
Did you have anybody who got kicked out for peeing in their bed?
No, not that I remember.
We did.
Really?
Yeah.
On purpose? Was he pissing in the bed on purpose to go home?
Never asked the guy, but that's my suspicion.
I mean,
I felt like we didn't have a lot in common.
if someone would have told me that early on, like, hey, you just pissed in bed a couple times, you can go home, there's a chance I would have done that.
Well, also, though, why sign the paperwork to begin with?
Yeah, I don't know. But you show up, and it's interesting when you show up,
It's not that interesting.
Yeah. No, it's different, you know?
So at 16, you lifted your gaze up a little bit, started thinking about the next.
Yep.
Other than the concrete stuff, what'd you do?
That's pretty much it. And then I went hunting with my now business partner, Jay Cutler, the quarterback, not the weightlifter. And
How was he?
he's great.
Okay.
Yeah. The
I've
most
heard he can be kind of
selfless.
an asshole.
Who, Jay Cutler?
I've heard so.
No. He's the most selfless, nicest human being out there.
Okay.
Extremely, extremely
There's
nice.
also a good chance that I'm thinking Jay Cutler is somebody else.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Super, super great guy. We were hunting, and him and his business partner at the time came up with Outsider. And they wanted to make it an outdoor media lifestyle brand, making their money on the written word, ad revenue, so on and so forth. Pumping out, have a bunch of writers, have them all pump out a bunch of articles daily, right?
Digital or print?
Digital.
Okay.
And then they were talking like, hey, to accompany our organization, we should have some products. And there's this carbon fiber cooler that could work, and we could make some drinkware to go with it.
Yeah.
And the carbon fiber cooler, and then over the course of the 5 days we were hunting, I kind of got brought into the fold. And they're like, hey, how long till you retire? What do you have going on? How about you do this on the side for now and to see how it goes? Mm-hmm. And then the drinkware landed. I started working on the cooler. The cooler never came to fruition because we couldn't get the resin in the carbon fiber correct.
This is at a time where Yeti is still in the market too, right?
Correct. Oh, yeah.
Man, what a hard company to compete with from a market share perspective.
Correct. Right. And so the cooler never came to fruition, but the drinkware did. And
how close did the cooler get?
Real close. Right. I might go
Just
back.
couldn't get it across the end zone?
Yeah. I might go back in a year or so and take another stab at it. But our drinkware came out, and it came out clean, and they're very high quality. And so then I kind of took on the drinkware salesman role on the side, right? I did take on the drinkware salesman role.
Still active duty.
Correct.
Yep.
And then there was an SEO problem or something happened internally, and that part of the business wasn't doing well. Not the drinkware side, but the other side. And so then at the time, the other gentleman, sorry, I'm fumbling with this. The other gentleman with Jay, he had a non-compete in the sports realm because he started Rival Sports and sold it. Then he started 24/7 Sports and sold it. So after he sold it, he had a 2-year non-compete. That non-compete ended, and Jay bought the company and brought me on.
Interesting.
And then I moved to Nashville, and now doing it full time.
And what's your role now?
I'm CEO.
CEO. How's that job treating you?
It's great. Yeah. I say that I'm full of shit. It's more stressful than fucking combat. It's the most stressful thing I've ever done. We did our seed round, and
I'm assuming that has something to do with going public?
No.
Or you're just raising money for a company?
Yep, correct. So did our seed round. It went really well, and so now we're hitting the gas pedal. So I look at 2024 as our first year.
Yeah.
And everything's going well.
Do you ever think you'd be a CEO?
No. I never thought about it. Really.
You feel qualified to do it?
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from? That feeling of being qualified to do something you've never done?
It's a great question. I think just the figure it the fuck out factor.
Yeah. Hopefully before the bank account hits zero.
Yeah, exactly. and I'm a good steward of money.
Okay.
Speaking of that, fun fact here, during this transition of me coming on and all of that, and before raising money, we were pinching pennies hard. When I say we, I mean me. And because I was a one-man show, you single-handedly kept Outsider alive for...
the coffee shop.
Yep. No, my coffee mugs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The coffee shop did. I
Yeah.
wasn't buying... Well, technically, I guess I was. But they were being sold at the coffee shop.
Correct.
We sold the shit out of those things.
Yeah. And so I found you on Instagram, and you have a little email deal on your...
I do. Motherfucker, Michael, I told you to take that off.
I could be passing bad gouge because this is like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago.
It might have been.
Yeah. And so you emailed me right back, and you're like, hey,
I need to get to the bottom of this shit right now.
I'll take 50 of these and 50 of these, and you reordered,
because we were selling them
every month or so. So I'm like, oh shit, Andy, I'm making like $7,000 a month or $5,000 a month off you.
I do have an email button, you bastard.
I got you. And that's what kept us afloat for a bit.
Well, that's awesome. I had no idea. Mm-hmm. I remember the email, and we were at that time. The reason I asked you if you feel qualified to be CEO,
Yeah.
because I don't. But I don't feel qualified to do anything that I do. I fucking stumble through life and fall forward more times than I've fallen backward under the same guise of like, we're going to figure this out. Mm-hmm. I just wish I could learn faster sometimes.
Likewise.
Yeah. But we were at a time that we were looking for products that we could specialize with the Montana aspect. Because I obviously own a Black Rifle Coffee, but that brand is nationally recognized. And I've been to a bunch of Starbucks, and they sell those cool mugs that's the Ohio or whatever it is. It's like, son of a bitch, why don't we put the Montana logo on there? Holy shit. People bought them.
Yeah.
They bought a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to help out. I had no idea.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And since then, everything's going very well.
What's been the biggest accelerator to your guys' growth?
Tractor Supply worked out really well.
Okay. Is that like a
retail
store or retail chain?
Yep. Tractor Supply. We're in 1,000 Tractor Supply stores.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. And about to be in a bunch of Pilot and Fly and J's, and we're working in negotiations.
Gas stations, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We're in negotiations with some very large major retail stores, big box stores. So hopefully that comes to fruition. But received a couple good POs, and then it just became steady. More private labeling drinkware like I did for you.
Yeah.
Than anything else at this point, which is great.
Where do you guys do that laser etching?
In Arab, Alabama.
Arab, Alabama. They need to work on that from a name perspective. I would, if you would have said that, I was not going to guess Alabama.
Yep. So it's just outside of Huntsville.
Okay.
So due south.
That sounds
of
more
Nashville.
Alabama-ish.
Yeah. And so that's where my fulfillment center is. So they do all the laser etching down there. And so we private label drinkware. And my thought process behind all this, we have a great name, and just like a band, a company, you need a great name, right? And we're an outdoor lifestyle brand, and sells products and high quality products. And the drinkware, you're right, like Yeti's a monster to go up against.
Dude, their market share has got to be huge.
Absolutely. And Jay and I were talking, like, man, put a veteran owned and a personality behind high quality drinkware. I think we can take some shares, right?
Yeah.
And especially after Yeti sold, and now they're buying everything and coming out with all sorts of shit. But anyway,
who'd they sell to?
An investment group out of China.
Interesting. Okay.
I said that, but I am probably wrong.
Okay.
But someone overseas, right?
Okay.
And I think one of the original brothers bought back in, but for a small amount. I'm not too sure.
Interesting.
But that was my thought process on it. Just put a name and a personality behind high quality drinkware, because everyone's buying it anyway, right? Everyone's buying Yeti or Hydro Flask or what have you. And not only that, ingenuity. And that's why we have the rotating handle, so the handle rotates so the coffee mug fits in your cup holder or your truck.
Yeah.
And that has been enough ingenuity to shift people over to us.
What has happened with the digital side of the house? Is it put to bed?
Correct. Yep. For now.
Okay.
Yep.
You think it'll ever come back?
Yes, I do. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the same application, but I really I do like the written word articles about national parks, hunting, fishing, and just I was thinking just follow the calendar, follow the hunting season, and what people do in their outdoor lifestyle, and just have some good articles about that. I'd like to bring that back in.
I like the written word too. I can do audiobooks. My preferred medium though is just physically touching something,
Mm-hmm.
or even digital. I guess even though to me though, man, there's still something lost by not having like an item in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not advocating you guys go to like print magazine type stuff, but there is something compelling to just an awesome article that you can flip your way through.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of it. Again, it's another saturated market, but I think if you differentiate yourself, I think you can stand out.
Yep.
That would be, and again, this is from
Yeah.
a guy who doesn't know shit about shit.
I mean, it's working.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep going, for sure. And we have a backpack cooler coming out, super sexy and cool. That'll come out next
I don't know
couple
if those
months.
words go together.
Yeah.
Backpack cooler, sexy and cool.
When you see it, it catches your eye. I mean, you use whatever verbiage you
Yeah.
want instead of sexy
Is
and
this
cool.
a picture of like two dudes in tidy whities laying on bed together? Because that was sexy. But that was earlier in your life, though.
And there's a spot up top for your can of tuna.
Backpack cooler. Okay.
And developing another piece of drinkware that's super unique. So excited to get that out probably in the next, 90 days or more.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, we'll keep buying the stuff
yeah.
for the store. Keep selling well.
Appreciate it.
Our retail, our retail manager, I basically do what she says. Mm-hmm. She comes to me with ideas, and I just go,
That's great.
okay.
Yeah.
Try to manage cash flow, like make sure it's like, hey, let's wait on this a week to all those things. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
But yeah, to going, in line with that. So now private labeling drinkware is, it's working very well for us.
I think the ability to make something unique for individuals in a market that is uber saturated,
Yep.
I think that's one of the little things that you can do to kind of make a difference. God, fucking Yeti is a monster, man.
They are. They I think they did 1.7 billion last year, and 1.2 of it was in drinkware.
I don't even understand numbers that are that big.
Yeah.
1,700 million. That's how many millions there are in a billion.
Yep.
Or in 1.7 billion.
And I mean, Stanley, to a little perspective, Stanley did 750 million last year
I would still be okay, even though that's a smaller number. I'd be okay with
with
that.
the 750.
Yes.
I could sell it for that.
Assuming that my output wasn't 800 million. Because it's not what you make.
Yep.
It's what you spend.
That's a fact.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's another scary thing. I'm not used to these numbers. Raise money, and raise quite a bit of money, and spending, large amounts of money on POs and so on and so forth. That's the stressful part.
What do you owe the people that invested? Are they investing because they believe in it, or do they want an ROI on that? Like, do you have to pay them back quarterly, or how does that work?
I'll more than likely pay them back upon acquisition, or typically.
Is that the goal, to build it to big enough to get sold?
Correct.
Who would be the candidates to consume something like that?
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Drinkware space,
Yep.
obviously, though.
Yep.
Okay.
Obviously a larger company,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
So, but pay them back upon acquisition. Hopefully, 10x their money, right? And or dividends around year 4.
Okay. All right. Say that you are acquired
Yep.
by somebody, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to roll this into one of our divisions. You don't need to be the C anymore. Here's your awesome exit package." What do you think you do next?
I'd reload. I'd just start another company and do it again.
So you like the entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, it's just a game like anything else, and I'm starting to figure it out. And by the time we get acquired, I think I'll have a very firm grasp on it, and so the next time it's just going to be easier.
Do you think it's harder to have a system in place, or harder to find like that product that has runway in front of it? Or are they, you know what I mean? Like how many versions of I'm trying to think of a product that maybe is tough to innovate on. A fucking pane window for a house, right? Is it harder to find like and identify somewhere that has unrealized potential? Or is it harder to develop that system that you could then apply to kind of wherever you want to go? Does that make sense?
I think it's the system.
Okay.
Right, because everyone's system's different, and it's your weird algorithm that works in my feeble little mind, right? And how can I explain that to somebody else is going to be extremely difficult. So I think the system.
Okay.
What about yourself?
Man, nothing I do is similar.
Yeah.
I do agree with not. I don't think I would be a good employee working for somebody else again. But people who they hear that like, I'm going to be my own boss. It's like, yeah, you report to yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's ever free and clear of being out from underneath a boss, Because at the end of the day, like, you have got to check in and log in and do the shit you have to do.
Yep.
The podcast is easy. You're sitting in here in this room, and for people who have no idea how big this room is, it's not that big. It's an office studio inside of a building. There's curtain. It was, I think, a therapist's office before.
Feels like a courthouse.
I
I got a little anxiety walking in.
for sure. I mean, there's definitely people who probably been sentenced to death in this building. Not in this room, but in this building. But I don't. Michael, what would you say? Is this 30 feet by 20 feet?
Yeah, it's not huge.
Not very big. Not big enough to have like a movable wall and a TV on it, and
For example.
Yeah, for example, I may have just had a company that I work with try to take over all my real estate for the "fuck you in the ass" podcast that they were trying to get me to do. That's my name of it, not theirs.
How'd that work out?
You don't see the wall in here, do you?
No.
They got told to come pick up their shit. I was a little bit heated, but it's a lot of lessons learned along the way. But I was talking with my wife about this. Starting a podcast is easy. What's hard about doing a podcast is figuring out who the fuck you are and how, like, what you want to do. For me, I'm like, I'm going to be myself, and because I don't have time to play a character, and I love having conversations with people. But you really could do it on an iPhone. The audio is going to suck, but you could do it on an iPhone. So you have to figure out the mechanical requirements of what you're going to need. But it's basically me and Michael. Michael's been coming in the room now for a couple of years, which at the end of this, at least our section, the camera switching, that'll all be done. It used to be I would record it, give it to Michael, and he would go through and watch the conversation. But I used to actually do that before. I would sit back and listen to the conversations that I had just had with somebody. Not a great utilization of your time.
How do you feel about listening to yourself talk?
I hate it.
I fucking can't stand
For
it.
one, I don't sound anything like what I hear myself.
Likewise.
Yeah, which then I realized I'm like, oh, but anybody who's ever met me or heard me, that's what I've always sounded like to them, so I'm the weirdo in this situation. Point being, it's like a one-person thing. Like even Joe, he's got a huge podcast, arguably the largest one on the earth. He works with Jamie in that studio, and they basically kind of do it on their own. There's a whole ecosystem around it. I'm not trying to diminish that, but the actual produced product is two people. Not that hard from a leadership or managerial perspective.
For ours, we just have our Ben.
Totally.
Yeah, and he does it all just like Michael does.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, so not crazy.
No.
You don't have to have a crazy structure in place. You want to have a workflow in place. Like, how are we going to do this? Make sure we hit these buttons in this order. I do public speaking, which is me managing that. So it's not like that's not a tough architecture.
What is it? Mainly motivational speaking?
I don't think I'm a motivational person, so I wouldn't say that. The tour that I actually enjoyed the most when I was in was as a buzz instructor. Not initially.
I really enjoyed being a land warfare instructor also.
Isn't it weird to think,
loved it.
like, my most rewarding tour that I did was the 18 months I did as a buds instructor because I had direct impact into what the future of the community was going to look like. I don't think you have that as a dude behind a gun.
No.
You can do some awesome stuff, assuming you randomly get to deploy in a place where that's actually going on.
Yep.
And as well as I
And
do.
that's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot, and the vast majority of the time that's not going to happen. People think that every SEAL is just like steeped in combat. I'd say 40% of team guys have probably seen combat. And that's diminishing rapidly as we progress out of the GWAT.
Now it's just the old guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which is, and people worry about that. And like, when I came in, there hadn't been combat in the SEAL community for 30 years. We thought we were awesome. We sucked so bad. But we fought an enemy that was generations behind. So the podcast, the public speaking, I focus on leadership.
Who's your clientele mainly?
Fuck, it spans the gambit.
Okay.
I've been all over the world multiple times at this point. I did for 2 years. It was like the banking world was hitting me up
Interesting.
to work with their executives. But I have spoken at oil and gas, banking, sales, marketing, you name the tranche. At the end of the day, leadership is leadership.
What are your wickets that you hit? Like, do you have three main points that you like to talk about, or?
So obviously the organization that I'm going to speak at, they get to decide the direction that we're going to go. So it really depends on what they come back to me with on that. But what I focus on more than anything, like the guiding principle, is leave people with something that's actually practical, not conceptual. I mean, the concepts are great, but if I can't give you a tool that you can apply in real time to make a difference in your life or your ability to lead people, what the fuck are we doing?
What tool is your go-to?
I think before anything, you have to define what it is. You know, like what is leadership? And then characteristics and principles of leadership and kind of just a template of how to make a decision, regardless of what kind of decision it may be. Ways that you need to be thinking about yourself as a leader, whether that's controlling your tone of voice, the rapidity of your speech. You know, one of the biggest things when I did my last deployment in 2010, I told myself I was never going to run because I noticed when I did run, everybody else ran too. And if you're going to run, if you take somebody with no or limited experience and you shorten the amount of time they have to make a decision, you as the leader are the person who's setting them up to fail because you're robbing them of that opportunity to make time. So a lot of it is just being, I mean, at the end of the day, leadership, in my opinion, starts with who you see in the mirror every morning. If you can't accept the fact that you are a leader or you don't think of yourself as a leader, the rest of it's dog shit downstream. So
I agree with that.
It's a combination of all of those things. But that's just all me. You know what I mean? Like they hit me up, I coordinate all that stuff. So again, there's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not a lot of mechanical stuff there. The hardest thing I would say is the coffee shop where you're at today. Because we have about 40 people who are employees. Vast majority of them are mid-20s, if not younger. And they're there for a variety of reasons. And some of them just don't give a fuck. And that's okay. Because who does give a fuck at 20? They're slinging coffee. And I try to tell people, like, hey, talk to our managers. Because sometimes it's churn rate. It happens. And I tell them, like, listen, we don't need to be overly concerned with churn rate because this is not a vocation for people. Maybe there's somebody out there who's like, I was born to be a barista and this is all I'm going to do. But for everybody else, I think it's a short station in life and they kind of move on. And I'm totally fine with that. But I also look back, dude, the easiest environment you'll ever work in is the one that we did as a leader. Because people are so fucking bought in and they're screened and they're refined in crucibles and selection courses. It's like, go do this. And they're like, okay.
I think about that so often. Oh my goodness, Mike. Why don't we just take a platoon, and start a business?
We would sit around and talk about what would happen if we took a platoon of people and put them into the cubicles at IBM. First off, we thought we'd have people running out of windows within a week, just because based on the way we talk to each other. And then, of course, we would channel and create a mutiny because everybody would want to be on our side, but it might be at the detriment of IBM. We might auger the company in.
I mean, you just need a very big carrot.
The problem is if you take a platoon and you start a company, the problem isn't going to be with the guys in the platoon. It'll be with all the other layers of things that you need to hire and scale. Because you're never going to replicate the level of buy-in that we had in the community. And it's actually a mistake. And I caution organizations against this now when I will go and talk about leadership. And it's not something that I've done until recently, but I caution them against using military leadership models in the civilian world because what they don't have is that buy-in. And you can't recreate that. So you shouldn't take, not that the concepts are incorrect, but they're not the same if you're applying it to people. In the people we have working at the coffee shop, there are teenagers on their first job. There are people who are probably working there because they can't find any other job or it's the most convenient. People who just want to pay their bills. Probably a couple people who are super bought in on the Black Rifle brand. They totally dig it. All of those things. They all require a different approach. Whereas in the world that we came from, it's like, hey, fuckstick, go do your job. Let me tell you, the hey, fuckstick doesn't work there.
Oh, it works in the teams.
Only in the teams. Why? Buy-in.
But I think there's a different layer there, right? So yes, you can be crass and you can use that verbiage, and because everyone's already bought in, right? And the train's moving with or without you as a leader. But I think on a micro level, you also have to be a servant leader to each individual and deal with their personal issues, get to know them, and that really, I guess, puts a bow on or completes the picture of the leader in the SEAL teams, how well they do not just tactics, but how well they know their people, and how big is their ability to influence those who work for them.
It's not as highlighted in the teams because of all the things that people went through to get there in the first place. In the civilian world, when you strip out all of those levels of people having to blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifice and grind for that. You strip that away and they're just there because they're going to pay their bills. You have to be that person that gets to know them. You have to be that. For one, the servant leadership thing, like that's the only way to go.
Yep,
right? Like
100%.
God, I worked with some assholes. And I always make this point too. The best leaders that I ever worked with were in the SEAL teams, and the fucking worst leaders that I ever worked with were in the SEAL teams.
Same boat.
Right? Like, how is this possible? How is it possible? You know what, another thing that the difference is that you didn't see in the SEAL teams that you will see in the civilian world? How many times did you guys have mission failure?
I mean,
0.
yeah, none that I remember.
But we worked for the shittiest leaders we've ever seen. So the outcome never changed, right? And so
Correct.
from an outside perspective, somebody looking into that organization, they'd be like, holy shit, these guys are the best leaders ever. What they're not seeing is that when we were working for leaders that are the opposite of everything that I think makes a good leader, they're successful in spite of who they are, not because of who they are. Because the rest of the people on their team care so fucking much about the mission that they will do everything possible to make that person successful.
Yep.
You come into the civilian world, that shit ain't happening. They're like, oh, hey, by the way, I just let the air out of your tires in the parking lot. Was your gas tank, was that for human fecal matter to go into? Because I just took a shit into your gas tank.
Just shoved it ever so slightly. Luckily, you drive a diesel pickup. The hole's a little bigger.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though? Like,
Yeah.
then we never failed. So it's easy, and I see this with organizations. I've literally seen it not phrased this way. I'm going to take it down to what I think is the brass tacks. A leader in that organization will say to somebody, oh, you were a Navy SEAL? Come lead in our organization. Because that person can point to success after success after success after success. Mm-hmm. And again, they might be a piece of shit that had a team underneath them that was literally succeeding in spite of them, not because of them. Mm-hmm. And then what happens is you get a shit leader who had a trident, who goes into an organization, who steps all over his dick, horrible experience, and what happens is that organization closes the door on everybody else that might be behind them. Mm-hmm. So,
have you seen that?
Yes.
I haven't seen that yet.
Give it time.
Yeah. I think another really, really hard part about civilian life and business is it's the lumbering dinosaur. Everything takes so long.
It can.
Yeah.
It can.
And I want everything and I want it now.
We operated at a different pace, man, in a different environment. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to the support personnel. We're making fun of the pride flag that, God, it wasn't SOCOM, whatever the fuck it was, Naval Special Warfare put out.
Yeah.
The teams don't do shit without support personnel.
That's a fact, yeah.
So that doesn't really exist in the same capacity in the civilian world. But if you find the right people, you can move pretty quick.
Correct.
It's a different pace of life.
I guess it wouldn't be, my organization running slow. It'd be organizations that we work with running slow. Or I'm going to say work for that are customers of ours.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you have, Johnny over here who works his 9 to 5, doesn't really give two shits about his job all that much, but that's, he's the face of the company I'm working with. And I have to get through him, to make a sale or something of that nature. And they don't give a shit about me. They don't care if we sink or become huge. They give two shits, right? So that's just learning to work with that has been interesting.
It's a different pace of life.
Yeah,
I've been out for 10 years now. I'm more accustomed to it. You've been out for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, at the longest. Yeah. So
you miss it?
No.
That's the answer. Fuck no. I'm so glad that I did what I did, though.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I left.
The amount of freedom you have when you're out. I just got my disability and everything, so now I'm up and running, and like that, that chapter's behind me. The book's closed, and it feels great.
How long have you been married?
Fuck. 2010. 14 years? Coming up on? Yeah.
I'm going to hope that your wife doesn't listen to this episode,
Oh.
because you're going to be in trouble for not knowing the answer to that question.
I got asked what she does for a living. She owns her own, now I know, right? Because I fumbled fuck that
I'm
up,
going to
too.
hope that you did know before. You were just struggling to say what it was.
Yes.
That's a
Ish.
lie.
Yeah,
That's a lie.
I might have. Ish. She's a writer, but she's not a writer. She owns her own company and does business development
Okay.
for government contracting.
And you have been out. You had out in Feb
Correct.
of this year.
Correct.
Of 24. Okay. So I was going to say, how does she like it with you on the outside? But maybe it's a little bit too early to tell.
I think so. You know, home a lot. Being home a lot was an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know, and
You forget how much we were gone.
yeah,
And you also, it's amazing. So if there's a valley in between you being home and leaving and coming back, there's a lot of shit you can fill in that valley that you don't deal with when you're gone.
exactly. Like moving. This is the first move I've been around for.
Any kids?
Yep, 3. They are 4, 6, and 8. 3 little girls. They're the light of my life. I love it.
Right now, they'll be the bane of your existence in about 10 years. They're going to destroy you.
I'm going to say they're not, you know?
They're going to destroy you. I have a 16-year-old daughter. They're going to fuck your life up.
I don't know, because, you know, I just bring a level of crazy to the relationship. I get them all wound up. I love, you know, and I think they're going to.
That's because the oldest is 8.
Yeah, correct.
Bring crazy to the relationship when your daughter is 15 and gets her driver's license.
Maybe I'll just match their crazy. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to do it well.
But you will. You'll be fine. And you know what the thing is? I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think if your heart is in the right place and you're not an abusive, manipulative piece of shit, I think it's hard to fuck them up. Like if you have
I agree.
unbridled, untapped love and you're supportive and you're engaged in their life, I think you're going to be okay. I tell you what though, like always be the example. You know, the people are just like wax poetically, like, you know, be the stoic example for your children and they will follow your lead. It's like, so you never had kids, huh? That's what you think right in this book? Because I've tried to be the best example I can be for my kids. I swear to God, they don't pay attention to anything I do right. But God help me if I slip up at all. They're like, well, you did it. I'm like, fuck.
You know, when I tell people I have 3 girls, initially they're like, "Oh, sorry, what'd you do?" You know, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I love it more than anything. And I think with girls, it's simple. All they have to know is that their father loves them more than anybody else in this world,
And
they'll
is
be fine.
involved in their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they'll be just fine.
I mean, I think there are a few other steps, not that I know what they are, but I think you'll find those steps along the way. As a concept, I think you're in the 10 ring.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
that's how I look at parenting, and I love being a father. So
They're cool at that age.
yeah, it's
Mike-
a lot of fun.
I have a 16-year-old daughter now, an 18-year-old son, almost 19, and a 20-year-old, almost 21.
Oh wow,
It's a different journey, man.
Yeah, you're in a different arena.
Yeah, now we're worried about things like grandkids and, you know. Yeah, I tell you what, man, your optic on life is like, fuck.
How would you feel about becoming a grandpa? Like if you got the news this weekend?
It would depend on which kid.
The oldest one.
I would feel a lot better about that than the 16-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for it, right? Like I'm 46, but also maybe that's an awesome age to be a grandpa. I would be happy, but I would be really concerned for him.
Yeah.
Not for one reason and one reason only. I know what it takes.
Yeah.
And I know what that future will look like, and you're going to sacrifice a lot of maybe who you want to be and personal life choices in order to be a good parent.
Yep.
And not the easiest road.
I couldn't raise kids when I was 20, 19 or something of that nature.
I don't think we're supposed to be raising kids at that age.
I waited, I think I was 31, 32.
I
Yeah,
was
32. I'm 40. I just turned 40. So yeah,
I was 25.
32. Okay. That's pretty young.
It is young. I got married too young. I got married at 23. I'm remarried now. It was too young. I mean, I don't think I knew who I was. I'm definitely a different person now than I was at 23. I'm not saying it can't work, but you can there's a lot more opportunity, I think, to grow apart because I don't think you're formed as a person yet, male or female. But it's I have thought about the grandkid thing for sure. I mean, I love first off though, I love kids
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Some people are really weirded out by kids, and I don't know if they had a bad experience or they come from like an only child.
I think it's a learned behavior, I would assume.
Learn from where though?
Their parents, maybe that's how they were raised, and that's what they're moving forward with, and they almost do it subconsciously.
Yeah, I think kids are so cool.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know, you go out to dinner and kids are sometimes running around doing kid shit, and people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, for what? Like, I don't care. And I also have seen complete and ferocious assholes like, you better get your kid in line. I'm like, I will shit in your gas tank, sir.
And I will put a can of tuna under the front seat. It's going to be my new trademark.
I would go with the hubcap. Inside the hubcap is where you want to put fish
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
because it's harder to find.
I mean, but will you get the aroma inside a hubcap as you would?
I'm going to suggest you do an A/B test on that on your own.
All right.
It's inescapable. Mm-hmm. It's inescapable for sure. God, yeah, the thought of being a grandparent. I mean, I don't know how far away I am from that.
I mean, you're not too far away, I would assume.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Long game, 9 years, right?
Yeah, and that to me, I've thought about that. You know, at 46 and my oldest is 21, we can still do some pretty cool shit together. You look at Michael, double check me on this. Didn't Al Pacino, I was just about to say Al Pacino had a kid. For clarity, he did not have the child. His girlfriend just had a kid. I think he's in his 80s. Odds of seeing that kid graduate high school? Exactly and precisely zero.
Yeah.
How old? Can you look that up for me, Michael?
Yeah, he's 83, and he just had a kid.
Brand new kid.
Yeah.
Is he just snorting Viagra?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I wonder at 83 you still want to get after it. Like, fuck.
I mean, I'm going to say yes.
Also, Robert De Niro at 79.
Admiral Winters had it one late.
79 and 83, though. I mean, they're not, I don't know either of them. I'm going to assume they're not dumb. Mortality is real for us all. At what point does it become irresponsible? As far as, like, how is a guy at 79 or 83 going to have a meaningful role in a child's life when they're likely going to be fed with fucking applesauce? Unless they're sharing it. They could share the gerber, right? Or Gerber. One applesauce for you, one applesauce for me.
You're right on that line of irresponsible. You
Yeah.
know, because you have a child, you want to carry on your legacy, but it's not going to be your legacy because you had very little impact on that young human being's life.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Like, I get the enjoying the procreation
Yeah.
up to the point of having the kid. There are ways around that, depending on your personal beliefs. And I'm not talking about abortion. I'm talking about fucking birth control. Like, you could still enjoy the act of, like, creating a child without actually creating a child. I don't know, man.
yeah.
Or do they just not care?
I don't know. I would not do it. But I mean, I'm sure he has grandkids, you know, very old, you know.
I would assume so.
And who may be great grandkids that could fill that void if you want to have a child in your life. You know, have your great grandkids over.
I can't fathom any version of an 83-year-old getting down that is not stomach turning.
Have you heard of soaking?
Yeah. Oh, Michael, trust me. Now
We just talked about this.
Michael just reached for his microphone because he's like, well, let me educate you, because he has a doctorate in understanding the ways of soaking.
So I'm hearing that there's, all right, I just read that there's the soakers, the soakies, and then the shakers.
Oh, yeah.
The jump man.
Yeah.
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 And, you know, I feel like I would be the best shaker in the world.
But why
For
would you
my
want to
friend.
be?
Well, I would put a, you know, noise canceling.
How would you know when to
headphones
start or
on,
stop?
Maybe like a kick, and I'd have an eye mask on. I'd have a Camelback, and I would just be rocking that sucker, you know, sweating.
The number, did I tell you about the number of Mormons that reached out to me who claim that soaking is not real?
I had a couple reach out to me that claim it was real.
I did get some of that as well.
Yeah.
The older generation of Mormons seems to not be able to fathom that is something that is real.
Is this jealousy talking or denial?
Yeah, they're just mad they didn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It could be a mixture of all those. The younger generation basically says, yeah, that's legit. So let's assume the truth is somewhere in between, right? We have an AC version. The truth is probably nearer to B. So, yeah. No, we've gone down the rabbit hole on soaking. We've watched some videos. It's
Wait,
you know.
so there's videos on the internet of the act of soaking?
No, there's video. Jesus, man.
Well, you said you watched videos.
We watched videos of a guy basically interviewing BYU students.
Oh yeah,
Saying,
I've seen similar ones.
Yeah. I also don't. I mean, it's like, okay, it's staged, not staged, edited, not edited. I don't know. I've had enough direct and personal feedback now that I believe it to be real.
I mean, how deep does this rabbit hole go? I mean, you got to think about your furniture, right? You can't have an Amish made bed out of oak because the shaker is not going to be able to perform that well. This has to be an IKEA, loose screws.
I think they're under. From what I've seen, it's like a bunk bed, or they're underneath the bed kicking it. The jump man is working like under the bed.
I picture myself at the end of the bed. Maybe some words of encouragement.
Hold on a second. In your fucked up version of this, you're at the end of the bed with a fucking noise canceling headset on and an airplane sleeping mask.
Camelback, properly hydrated.
Just dripping sweat. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just a good friend, I guess.
I don't know.
You have to pay me to stop.
I couldn't do it.
You couldn't be a shaker?
I want no part of any of that shit. I mean, it's like, what are you doing at this point?
What if your best friend's like, hey, man, I need a favor?
I don't fucking know.
You just became a shaker.
I
saw it.
I mean, maybe I can't get myself into that mindset of, because here's the thing. So it prohibits sex. Apparently, I don't know much about the Mormon religion, but apparently premarital sex, right? Prohibited. So you're telling me that in their fucked up skirting of the line, they'll do everything but move back and forth? There's penetration, but you're not going to move back and forth. But if somebody else
it's just how they justify in their head.
It's like, just go get a goddamn hotel room and do it. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not a religious person, so I'm like, why would you just do all those steps to work your way around a technical description while at the same time you're physically doing the same thing that you're saying is prohibited? Shit, or get off the pot.
Yeah, I agree. So if they're under the bed, do they manually push with their arms and their knees? I mean,
it would depend on the bed.
You can't get much momentum down there.
Maybe the bed's up on blocks.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? How much
maybe,
work?
Maybe it's the top bunk, and only the top bunk, and there's desks underneath there. They move the desk out, and he gets underneath there.
Is it the jump man's job to figure this out? Like, does he set the stage?
I mean, if it has any pride in his job.
How the fuck did he get on this? Michael, what are your thoughts?
As far as what you would do as the jump man,
Yeah.
I always imagined that it was a bunk bed and the jump man's or the jumpers on the bottom with the feet on their...
Hold on. The jump man is the shaker.
Yeah, the shaker is lying on their back with their feet
On the bottom bunk?
On the bottom bunk with their
Yep.
feet on the top bunk, and then they're basically just doing reverse squats.
Do you have any idea how many Mormons are screaming at us right now? At their fucking car radio or whatever.
Can you imagine the quads on this shaker, though?
Yeah, you'd have to be in pretty good shape.
Going to the gym would be a good place to find the jump man.
Yeah, actually.
See the dude just repping out four bills. Just be like, excuse me, sir. Do you want to do a cool down set?
Do you know what soaking is?
You're just watching the leg press all day, waiting for the right candidate.
Human beings are so fucking stupid, man. My God. What was the highlight of your SEAL career out of the 20 years?
I really liked being a land warfare instructor out at Fort Chaffee.
What'd you like about it?
I like small unit tactics and the problem sets that we would throw, teaching people how to navigate those problem sets and set themselves up for success for the next, inevitable issue that's going to arise. I really liked it.
Yeah. Was the teams what you thought it was going to be before you came in?
Yes.
More so, probably?
Yep.
Yeah, it was definitely more than I ever thought it would be or could be. I don't know if there's much you could, obviously, it's not as much as Charlie Sheen in Navy SEALs.
It's pretty close.
That's about 50 people's careers jammed. Have you ever gone back recently and watched that?
No, I haven't watched it in a long time. I think
Go back and look at it through a tactical lens. Oh, my God.
Probably one of the most realistic pieces of cinematography ever written.
No. You'll go back. You'll just go back and watch it. All of it is fucked. And maybe it was great tactics at the time. I don't know, but they come in through the skylight and they, when they're doing the hostage rescue, holy shit.
So a guy comes in through the skylight. And then Charlie Sheen comes in the front door with a group of folks.
Charlie Sheen is
right?
the one who comes through the skylight. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Yeah, and then shotgun breaches the door horribly. Doesn't even attempt a mechanical usage of any kind, just straight to the shotgun. You were talking about somebody who's kicking the party off before it gets started. Like everybody heard that. No, it's a cinematic tour de force. I suggest going back and watching it. Legitimately though, just be like, okay, let's view how tactically savvy this is and how does this stand up over time. Get some popcorn. You will fucking laugh your ass off.
I will do that.
It is horrible in every sense of the word, and I love it. I'm still here for it. It'll still pop up on Netflix every once in a while. Like, I don't have anything to do.
When's the last time you watched it?
I don't know, probably last week.
This morning.
No, it's not a morning movie.
Yeah.
It's more of an evening movie. I bet you, though, that got a full generation of people in.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I joined.
Yeah.
There's a couple other contributing factors, but that's the main reason.
Yeah, it was a cool profession to have. It's I still strive for, though, I just want it to be what I did. I don't want it to be who I was.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
I've seen some people struggle on the exit from the military, and I don't have any right to speak for anybody else, but I think the more they tie their identity to the job, the more difficulty they seem to have navigating whatever their next is going to be.
I completely agree, and I also think a lot of that has to do, that struggle, with the point in the person's career that they got out on. If they did 1 or 2 pumps, or say they did 2 pumps, 4 pumps, and got out, and they weren't fulfilled, and then they go do something else, they miss everything about it. Right?
Yeah.
They miss being in the platoon hut. They miss everything. I don't miss a fucking thing. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's after 20 years, you're just ready to leave, mentally. But you have to be mentally ready to leave. So I think guys that got out maybe a little bit before they should have, and are the guys that struggle the most.
Are you glad that you moved away from Virginia Beach?
Yeah.
I think it's tougher when you're right there and you see the same people and they're having the same conversations, and everywhere you go, it's like San Diego. You're going to run into a fucking team guy.
Yep.
Almost everywhere. God help you if you go to Coronado. That's all it's going to be. I think a little bit of proximity away from that is a pretty healthy thing. Isolation, maybe not the best, depending on how you get out and when you get out.
Correct.
But not being there and seeing it every day, I do think helps.
I was ready for a move. I lived in Virginia Beach for, I think, 16, 17 years. I was just ready for a change.
How'd you deal with that humidity?
It didn't bother me much.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Fuck that place.
It's humid, but
It's horrible.
yeah.
Windows sweat at 5 a.m. You're like, awesome, we're going to be in the kill house all day today.
Oh, I mean, you're wringing out your socks.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Montana, it's not like that. San Diego, not like that.
That's why the East Coast teams are a little harder than the West Coast teams, I think.
I don't think, I would say dumber for sure because they stay there.
Yeah.
Because you could rotate to a West Coast team.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other things that come into play. Like, for me, like, okay, what point are you in your career? Do you want to move out there? And then housing, housing price is different.
Is California housing expensive?
I don't know. I've never bought a house there.
What do you think BAH is there right now?
Oh, shit. $3,000?
I was going to guess 5.
Yeah.
It might be.
Yeah.
Depending.
I have no clue. That was just a stab in the dark.
Yeah. How long do you think you'll stay with Outsider?
For the duration of it.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a, 5 to 14 year gig.
That's a large. Why 14? Why not 5 to 15?
Because I'll be 54
Okay.
in 14 years, and that's when I want to be done.
Okay. What else do you want to accomplish? Like, what's left on your bucket list?
A grizzly in Kodiak.
Okay.
A halibut.
Is that a hard tag to get in Kodiak?
No, I don't think so. It's just
Okay.
pricey.
Okay. So brown and Kodiak.
Yeah. And just travel. I want my kids to travel a lot. My wife and I have had the conversation lately about how we feel about college and, what that's going to look like in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so just do a lot more traveling and a lot more hunting and fishing.
The old guard of college being the mandatory step after high school, I think, is crumbling a little bit. My wife grew up in a family of academics, her mom and her stepfather. So she was pretty directly pushed down that pipeline. And, oh, hey, the economy's shitty. Go back to school.
Yep.
School's not free, but apparently the money to go to school is damn near free to get. And it's predatory as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if saddling people with 6 figures of debt in their early 20s is the way to go.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't know, unless you are going to get a degree and directly work in that field. Like if you're going to be an engineer, please go to school.
Lawyer, doctor.
If you're going to make bridges, for the love of God, please go to school so I can drive over them safely. Design aircraft, also. Brain surgery, yes. I don't want a political science major operating on my brain. Other than that, man, I don't know how valid the argument is anymore that is the pathway to success, the bridge to success. If too many people come to that realization, what does that mean for the higher education system? Does it mean that it crumbles, or do they have to evolve? Because I'd love to see the latter.
Crumble.
I'd love to see it evolve.
There's so much bureaucracy and money and
that could be part of the evolution.
Yeah. What does that look like? You know?
I don't know. I don't know if the current system, though, is serving us very well.
What I would like to do is I want all my kids to start a company, and it could be one company that they all run right before their freshman year of high school, and I want it to be profitable by the time they graduate.
Okay.
And then this is all right now, right? So it could change in 8 years. And then I wanted to travel and go to some, probably not the most desirable places, so they can see what
like
life.
Portland.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Dude, my son is in Portland right now. Michael, I'm going to show you a picture.
Is that the heroin capital of the world still?
It might be.
Yeah.
He sent me.
Is he living there or just traveling through?
He's on his first vacation with his girlfriend, Airbnb-ing it. Average store in Portland, and it's just wooden cocks. That's all he sent me. This is what my son is currently exploring on his own for the first time. He's like, this store is just crystals. Look at that shit. It's just crystals and
cocks.
cocks.
These are handcrafted cocks?
I don't know, but there's some work that went into those things.
I mean, those are nice.
Yeah. But yeah, he's speaking of places that, are odd, and he's like, this entire store is just crystals and penis statues. Like, what? I don't know what you expected.
Wonder what the margins are.
How many wooden cocks do you need? Like, what's the target market for? You're a goddamn CEO. What's the target market for this?
I mean, I would go for more display than the actual.
So it's a showpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for use. But I'm not going to tell people how to live their life. So use it if you want to.
And then it goes down to craftsmanship. Who's making them? How fast can you pump them out? What are you selling them for? What's your overhead at the store?
My wife gets a text. Leah gets a text yesterday. Michael, apparently he went into Trader Joe's for the first time. He goes, it's just people with sideburns who smell like mustard. He's just living his best life.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, getting that experience on his own. They were gonna camp in his car on one day on the way back, and his plan was to take a single sheet off of his bed.
And that's what they're using.
So Leah sees this. She's like, we have to stop him, right? I'm like, no, let that shit ride.
I'm with you. That's a good looking sheet. It'll work well.
It's not going to die.
Yep.
Also not going to be comfortable. The best lessons in life probably should sting a little bit. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
After leaving that Airbnb and they're driving, they're tired, they're not going to want to sleep in that car.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'll at least pull over and attempt it, and then they'll have to suffer through the 2 to 5 a.m. hour before the sun comes up driving.
That's so brutal.
I know, but how do you know that? Because we've done it.
Yeah.
They don't know that. Welcome to the fucking real world. I think as a parent, again, I'm not going to let my kid, hey, you should go get shit-faced and drive your car with your seatbelt off. No. But this, we're well inside of safety boundaries, but it's absolutely going to suck.
Send it.
Get
Absolutely.
it.
Yep. I'm right there with you. No one's getting hurt. Nothing
No one's going to
bad's
get hurt.
happen.
And if I stop that, what am I actually doing? Not preparing him for anything awesome, you know? So, I don't know, man. It's parenting is a goddamn journey for sure.
I love it. It's a fun one.
It is fun, but I tell you what, it gets more complicated as they get older.
I can only imagine.
The drug, sex, alcohol thing is real. Social circle influence is real. Social media influence is
hate
real.
that, man.
Here's the argument you'll get from your kids. All of my friends have one, and this is how they communicate with each other. I don't want to be left out. Parents can take that however they want, but that's basically the argument that you're going to get presented to you. How you go with it, a parent, is your choice. So it's been interesting.
Yeah.
All three of my kids have done stupid shit with their phones.
Really?
And they've learned from it. It's like sending a stupid text message that gets screenshot that terminates with me in the principal's office. That's happened. The bullying thing, real for sure. Being unable to disconnect and being habituated to hearing bing and picking up your phone.
Yeah.
Well, it happens all night long. So they don't get to sleep, right? All that stuff plays into it.
How do you deal with bullying? How'd you deal with it?
Directly.
Yeah.
As broadly as I feel comfortable answering, directly.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
At some point in time, if it goes far enough, it will terminate with me on your doorstep. And just like overseas, if that happens, you're fucked. If I show up at your door, it's not going to go your way.
Yeah, that's something that does make me nervous because each one of my kids, they have their own personality. Some, and I think there's one in particular that's more sensitive than the others, and I'm truly worried.
Same
about
with my
that.
kids too.
Yeah, I'm truly worried about bullying in the future.
They'll be okay though too.
Yeah,
because they may not be bullied, but they also might be around bullies, and this is something I've always told my boys, like. If I ever hear that you have bullied somebody, I'm going to be fucking pissed. But if I ever find out that you were there and somebody was getting bullied and you didn't stop it, I'm going to be even more mad.
Yep.
So they're going to be around. It's going to happen in their life. That's the one misconception I think, and maybe most parents don't have it, but that they can shield their kids from everything. We can't, man.
Is that your threshold for fighting?
What do you mean?
For your kids? Like, hey, don't go get in fights. It's not, however, there is, circumstances out there.
I've always told my kids to stand up for what is right.
Okay.
Do the right. I mean, and people are like, well, how do you know what's right? It's like, motherfucker, for 99.9% of situations, you know what's right and what's wrong. Like, we could sit here all day long in chapter and verse, what is right and what is wrong, and most people would agree with you on that. Like, that one's not that hard. Standing up for it, though, when the consequences may not be going your way or maybe you're outnumbered, like, that's what I've always told them. Like, stand up for what you believe in. And if you're doing that, I'm always going to have your back.
Yeah. Yeah, fighting on a principle.
Yeah. Like I'm not somebody who's ever gone out looking for fights.
You've probably been in a boatload of them, though.
Not that many.
Really?
I love violence, but I avoid it because it fucking hurts. You know the deal with boxing. People are like, boxing's great. Like, why does my face feel like shit and I can't smell?
Yep. Exactly.
And also the people I know who are the most capable of violence want no part of it. Because I know the physical and legal consequences that can come from that.
I used to fight all the time, and that's where I'm at now. I want nothing to do with it, right? And same thing with, a CONUS kill. People, like, hey, do you carry a gun everywhere? What about this?
I do, and I don't want to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to shoot somebody in the United States.
Yeah.
Ever.
Having said that, if I had to, I would.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm just thinking about the legal ramifications afterwards. Like,
Dude.
There's a $50,000 bill.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. And then there's civil court.
Yep.
You might come out on top on the criminal side of the house and still get fucked in the civil side.
Correct.
No, my kids have never seen me get into a fight, but I tell you what they have seen me do is de-escalate and walk away.
Good.
And be like, oh, yeah, you're right. You're totally right, sir. It's my favorite. I'm like, you're so smart. I'm so dumb. You're so good looking. It's just like, just fucking walk away.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing that. And yeah, I could probably beat the ever-living fuck out of that person. And who cares?
Yep.
Who fucking cares, man?
I have a hard time. So I'm like, man, this is a lesson that this human being has never been taught, and maybe I'm the
Here's the thing, though.
here.
Time and place.
Yeah.
I'm not against, I'm not against fighting if the time and place is right. I just think that the vast majority of violent confrontations can be avoided, and they should be.
Yeah.
Especially in situations like bars. Like the alcohol-induced fight.
Oh, I've been in a lot of those. Yeah.
Who hasn't? Net gain out of that? Zero.
Yeah.
Risk?
Through the roof.
Through the goddamn roof.
Yep.
It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it at all.
I agree.
What else are you going to do while you're up here in Montana, man?
So heading to Bozeman in the morning.
Oh, nice.
I went out last night. Went to Whitefish with
Yes.
Josh Fields. He runs Rocky Mountain Elk Calls.
Okay.
He lives here in Kalispell, so he took me out down there, went to dinner, and this evening I'm not too sure what we're going to do, but then tomorrow morning I'm going to drive to Bozeman and meet some of my folks from outside of there, and then meet up with some guys for a happy hour at 4:30.
Hell yeah.
Have you heard of Land Trust before?
Yes.
Yep. So meet up with those guys and some other business owners, and then head to TAC and Big Sky on Thursday morning.
Oh, hell yeah. So you
Yep.
got a whole Montana adventure going
Correct.
on.
Yeah, I'm heading home Monday.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. We've been at it for a couple hours. Let's let you get out here and explore some more Montana. I'll let you close it out. What do you want to leave people with?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on.
Of course.
I love Montana. And if you haven't, go check us out at outsider.com. If your company needs private label drinkware, you could talk to Andy. We do a great job at it. And check
They
us
do.
out.
We've probably ordered hundreds at this point.
I crunched the numbers because I wrote Black Rifle a pitch based off their own numbers that I've sold them because I'm trying to get them
Yeah.
to buy more. And your numbers, I think I had you selling like 2.5 units a day, and I think it was like 875 that you
Yeah.
bought.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And,
bet you we probably outsell the national brand. Mm-hmm. So no big deal. We need to celebrate it.
So yeah, check us out. That's
Hell
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I appreciate
and
it.
Let's get you back out and enjoy Montana.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man.